We are live. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to be here tonight, Friday night. And if this is your first time joining, this is the weekly show, Moms Who Resell, where I have weekly guests on that also resell, that are also moms. And we just kind of chit chat and talk about all the things that we deal with on a daily basis, whether you do eBay full-time, you do eBay part-time. There's always going to be struggles with your young kids, with your older kids, with just running a family. And I feel that this is a demographic that could really use some extra community, and I'm always looking for it. So instead of going out and looking for it, I created it. So that's why I have this show, and I am so excited to have you here tonight. Let us know in the comments if you are here. And I have a very, very special guest today, Linda with Flashback Finds. I have been following her and her husband's channel since before they were husband and wife. Apparently he had the channel before they got together, and it's been years. Like I go back probably, let me turn that off. At least 4 years. I think they're one of the first people that I ever followed on YouTube. So, Linda, welcome.
Hello. I'm so excited.
So excited to meet you. I am seriously fangirling over this because I have followed you guys for years. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have the guts and I'm going to message and see if she'll be on. And I'm like, surely she's not going to message back because I think I messaged a handful of people. Nobody wrote back. And then Cameron's like, oh yeah, hit her up. She'd love to be on.
Yeah.
So I am so excited that you said
it was
yes.
funny because he said, oh, somebody messaged and said they want to interview you, right? And I'm like, whatever, don't even play like that. You being dumb. Like, okay. I thought he was just messing with me. And then he goes, no, for reals. And I'm like, okay, receipts or it didn't happen. And then he brings over his phone and he's like, look. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like for real?
Oh, funny.
So, yeah, and so I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this.
Oh, thank you. You guys are just an adorable duo and you both do it together. So watching the videos of you guys bantering, and my favorite is when I hear the kids in the background, and I love your channel and watching you guys. So thank you. And we've got Coco and Chewy. So I was actually telling Linda to follow you, Coco, because you have amazing lives that you do and you're a hoot. So excited to have you and officially kind of introduce you in a digital way.
Right.
We've got Juliana. Welcome. Bad echo for anyone else? Maybe?
Maybe.
Nope, that's on my side. Okay, it shouldn't be too echoey. I was making sure the other feed wasn't running. So if anyone else has an echo, let me know. Christopher Nutter, excited to have you. We've got all the OGs here. Melanie, welcome. Karen, welcome.
That's my Grammy right there.
Yay!
Hi, Grammy.
That's so awesome having family. Occasionally my sister will pop in here and just say hi and then leave. Because I'll call her and be like, what'd you think of the show? She's like, oh no, I just said hi and left. Like, thank you, sis.
She supports with a comment. There we go.
Exactly. I was here and then I left. Joe, welcome. Love watching her and her hubby. I've learned so much from them. Yes, absolutely. And I know Cameron yesterday on the video you guys just put out, we're talking about the similarities between a lot of our items. And it's true. When I was watching you guys, it's because I'm like, oh yeah, I see those all the time, or those are the type of things that I buy. And it could be regional because you're in California, I'm in Arizona. So it could be that we find those things here on the West Coast, but we definitely have a lot of similarities in our items.
Oh yeah, because there's stuff that I'm out looking and I go, oh, I saw that on YouTube. Who had that? Who had that? And then I'm like, okay, we need to grab this because I saw it.
Yep. It's funny how that works. It's like a little Rolodex when you see it, and then like, I know I need to buy this. I don't remember why, but I know
there's
I need to buy it.
There's something in there that's going, buy it, buy it, buy it. And you're like, wait, why?
Yep. Exactly. Usually it's homeschool picker Kayla. She has a lot of weird things that
she does
that I'm always finding.
Some of those, like we were just watching and she was picking up some Santas on this last episode, and I was like, that is the weirdest looking Santa, and it was like a Santa on a log or something like that. Yes, the stick thing, and I'm like, what is that? Like, who buys this stuff? stuff. And
Yes,
so
I
they get it
never would
sold.
look at those. And
No.
yeah, and then like she had these water weights. And I'm
Yes.
like, I've never seen those. I ended up finding some like a month or two ago. I'm like, how weird. I never would have looked at those if it wasn't for her ever mentioning it.
What
I'll
it's
never
that
see it
thing, it's
again,
right in
but
there. It's that thing that goes, buy it. And you're like,
yep.
wait a minute. It's Kayla. It's Kayla. And they're telling you.
Exactly, exactly. So, Linda, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you and your hubby's business and kind of how you got started in reselling.
So Cameron actually was doing reselling starting in college to have some money during college because gas and everything. And then so he just started out selling with video games that he had because that was something he knew about. And then
Hmm.
it kind of grew from there. And then when we started dating, it became a way to supplement date nights. So that was like, okay, yeah. It was like, he's like, yeah, you know how much I sold this week? We can go out to dinner. And I'm like, okay. So, and then after that, it moved on as our relationship got more serious. It became money saving up for an engagement ring and then for a honeymoon and so on. And then after after the wedding and everything, it became rent money. And now we're actually up to the level where we are able to pay our mortgage through our reselling
That's
business.
incredible.
So, and that is so exciting that we can say that, hey, we bought a house because of eBay. And so
Yep,
that's like super exciting for us because it's obviously a goal. It's the American dream. You have your house, you have your
absolutely.
kids, your dog, and so
Hmm.
it's just been something that has been a consistent in our life and allowed us to further our life and get to our goals and stuff. So,
So, what was your first thought when he told you when you were dating, before you even started dating, like you're doing your introductions, and he said that I'm a reseller? What were your first thoughts?
well, I mean, being in the town we were in, I hoped he wasn't talking about other stuff. So I was like, wait, what do you resell? Like, what are we talking
Right,
here? And I was like, okay, like, and then he's like, yeah, so I keep all of my stuff in a storage unit and I have all of my packing supplies in a closet and every night I pack up stuff. And I'm like, okay, like every night. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Like it was something
right.
that was a little different. And at the time I was actually working at UPS. So I was like, okay, so like, yeah, okay, I get you. I get you. I'm
You're
I'm
like
on I'm on
UPS.
board.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't it's not like something terribly new, but like I wasn't expecting it because he
Yeah,
has a full-time job. And so I was like, wait, why? Like, why? But
right.
yeah, it was definitely something. And then once we would go out and he'd be like, oh, hang on, we need to stop at the post office. I need to drop off packages. And I was like, oh, okay, like okay, I can get on board with
Not how
this.
I thought this date would go, but
Yeah,
how
exactly.
funny. I always wonder that when spouses did their reselling before they became spouses, like how the other person reacted. Like what's crazy is I've been following Kayla, homeschooling picker, and now she's with Matt. And
Yeah,
it's funny because of how huge they both are in the reselling community, and now they're together. So it's just they obviously understand each other, but if one of them were to go date one of the other, and not have that experience, what would they think? Like,
yeah,
really? You do this and you film this and
yeah,
you do a YouTube about it? Like like look at you like you have a third eye.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah,
Thank you,
I had
Coco. Their
somebody,
channel
yeah.
is awesome. You're gonna
Oh
love
yeah.
it.
No, it's super cute. And they're like, oh, you want me to pick that up? And I'm like, are they keeping receipts? Like, what happens if they don't stay together? Like, are we gonna pay everybody back for how much we spending on each other? Because I'm like, I tell Cameron at the end, I'm like, so like, did they like write that down? Like he paid for that, but she's gonna sell it. She gonna pay him back? And I'm like,
Right?
I don't think they're that serious yet, are they?
I don't know, but then he'll find stuff and then they'll do a screenshot that says it was in her channel or on
Yeah,
her YouTube or eBay,
yeah.
on her page, on her store.
Her story,
So
yeah.
it's I don't know how they're working it out. Apparently it all
No.
comes out in the wash. Maybe he'll buy dinner if she buys the
There you go.
inventory or
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know. All
Yes.
right. So let's see. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how your kids are involved? Yours are younger, so they're kind of in my my realm, I've got the 8-year-old and 3-year-old. Yours are even younger. So
Yeah.
are they helping yet, or do they just want to dig in your inventory?
Mostly dig in the inventory. Zane really likes remotes. So Cameron has to be careful with where he keeps our buckets of remotes that we get because Zane
Yep.
will take them and then they end up all over the place. So we do have to be careful with that. Tori really likes purses and stuff like that too. So he'll
Yeah.
find a purse and she's like, oh, and daddy's like, not happening. So,
Yep.
but it's funny because I was talking to Cameron about this the other day where, when we first started together and we had our own storage unit and everything, we would go as a family after dinner to pull orders out of the storage unit. And Zane was little and we'd run around the storage unit and stuff. And then I remember when we upgraded to a bigger unit, I remember taking him and Tori in her car seat and setting up new shelving and stuff. And it was like, oh my gosh. And then I think it was last 2 nights ago, Zane was in bed already because of school, and Tori was with us in the garage. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like full on deja vu of just Tori being in there with us, and she just
Yep.
sitting there, and she's on her tablet, and she's just chilling. And then she got up and she's playing with some wires because they always like to connect wires to everything. If there's wires out, it gets connected into something. And
Okay.
so it's like a maze out there right now because they've been in the garage the last 2 nights with us. And
Yeah.
it's funny because they are just, I tell Cameron all the time, I'm like, these are our eBay babies. Like they know what to do. They know that if they can't find mom or dad, they go look in the garage because
There
we're
you go.
probably in there.
Yep.
So, and they enjoy going to like thrift stores and stuff. They always get a toy, which I'm like, hey, I'll pay a thrift store price for a toy over
Yep.
a new one, anyways, all day long.
100%.
Yeah, but I mean, it's because they've grown up with it. I think they're really used to it, and
Yeah.
it's just like it's a normal part of our life.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I always laugh when my daughter on a Saturday morning, oh, what are we doing today? Okay, really? You gotta ask? Like, what do you think we're doing? We're
same
driving
thing we've
looking
done
for
for
garage
years.
sales.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've been doing it since you were born, practically. Like, this isn't new.
yeah,
So you
exactly.
mentioned your garage. So now that you don't have the storage unit anymore, it's all in the
No.
garage.
Yeah, so when we did buy the house, we made sure that the garage, it's technically a 3-car garage, was going to be our full storage at the house because obviously
Okay.
driving to the unit and driving back it's a lot of time, and it's a lot, like if you sell something right as you leave, it kind of sucks. And then
Yeah.
we had between the 2 storage units, we actually kept all of our packing supplies at the other one also. So we would pull orders, go to the other unit, pull the coordinating boxes or whatever we needed and hope we got it right, and
Right.
then bring that all home. And then it would be like, oh crap, we sold something after we left. So Cameron would have to get up in the morning before work, go over there, pull orders, come back
Wow.
home, and I'd be like, okay, I got it for you. And then, so it
Yeah.
became a hassle. And so when we got the house and it was like, okay, the garage is big enough, we can do this, it became it's our headquarters, and it's
Yeah.
definitely a sight to see. And when we have people over and they know we resell, they're like, hey, can we see where you keep everything?
It
And I
becomes
have
like
to,
an amusement park in there.
it
Everyone wants
is,
to
it
see
really
your
is.
store.
I really prepare them for it. I'm like, okay, like my mom can't go in there because her OCD goes nuts and she freaks out.
Yep,
Because
that's my sister. She gives me crap all the time. It looks like a hoarder's paradise. I'm like, I
it
just
does.
spent 6 hours organizing. This looks amazing. I
Yes,
don't
there's
notice a
some
difference.
days Cameron's out there for hours, and I walk out there, I'm like,
Oh,
dang, look at this. It's looking good. And
yes.
but my mom walks out there and she's like, uh-uh.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. But people love it, and they act like it's a treasure hunt. Like they go
Yep.
around, they're like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's that? Oh, this is cool. Oh, look at this,
Yeah.
and so it's pretty cool. We love it just because of what it is. Obviously, just like anybody else, I wish it was, perfectly organized. There's
It's
who
a
is it?
running business. And I say that all the time when I'm filming and you see the ugly side and you don't always see the pretty side. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a business. So I have a giant pile of random boxes that don't look pretty but it's functional, and it's a lot easier to dig for a box size when the boxes are all right there. So
Yeah.
it's not pretty, and there's a table where I'm testing stuff and kind of like in a holding, am I going to keep this or keep testing it, or just it's a mess. And it's
Oh, no,
never
it
going to
is.
be 100% organized and
No.
perfect.
But even though it
Much
doesn't
as
look
I would love
like
it.
it, yeah, even though it doesn't look organized, I'm sure you can go out there and you're like, "Oh, I know where this is."
100%. Yep.
See, and that's Cameron. He's like, we sell something, and I'm like, "Oh crap, where's this gonna be?" He goes, "Oh, I know where it is," and he walks away, and he comes back with it. I'm like, "Wait a minute,"
Do you
like,
keep an inventory system, or do you just kind of remember where things are?
just remember where things are. Yeah, we would love to get to that point where we'd be like, "Oh, it's an A1 shelf 2," but I mean,
So
oh, it's yeah. I don't know if
we
it'll ever
had
be that
to,
way.
and I learned that once I can you guys keep it down? They're having a party in the living room. I realized that when I got to about 50 items, I'm like, okay, this is going fast. And if I don't get an inventory quick, it's
Yeah.
gonna get too big. And I'd rather inventory 50 items than 500 items. So
Mhm.
that was when I started just getting banker boxes, and just the classic A1 is in this
Yeah.
box, and went that way. And I think it's not perfect. I don't always remember to put it
Mhm.
in there. I don't always have room in a box to put it in there, and then it's just tucked into a little hole. Or, I mean,
Yeah.
it's flawed, but it's better than 100% memory, because my husband usually pulls the orders, and I'm the one that listed it. So he'd have no way to know where it's at unless I
Yeah.
tell him that
Yeah.
where it is. How do you control the climate? So you're hot. I mean, California. So how do you
Uh
keep things from melting?
um we don't buy stuff that melts. We
Genius.
yeah, we actually had one item. Oh, this was years ago when we were living in our apartment, and we had a garage off to the side, and we put my car actually in it. But there was Cameron went to move something, and there was this pile in this bag, and he's like, "Oh, what is this?" And he pulled like had to rip it open. It was a bunch of candles that had been like
That's my
shaped and
first
stuff.
thing
Yeah,
that
and it
came to
just
mind was
into
candles.
this pile, and it was like, "Oh crap." So like
Yeah.
we do have a box of like our fancier like creams and stuff that we think, makeup creams and stuff that we keep indoors. But
There you
other
go.
than that, the garage, it gets pretty hot. I think oh, I don't know. I think it was almost 94 in there the other day.
Yeah.
And it's just it's pretty gross. We are hoping within these next couple of years either we're going to purchase a shed to extend off of the house, because we have a very large backyard. So we're going to
Hmm.
either put a shed out, and we're going to have that one be climate controlled, and then have other stuff in there.
Yeah.
Or we're going to invest in having the garage kind of
Like a
insulated,
mini
and then
split.
yeah, and then put a AC unit in there. It just
Yeah.
depends on which one, because I mean we can deal with it for the most part, because we don't go out to the garage and really start doing anything till probably about 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
So you can open
But
the garage door and cool
yeah,
things off. And
yeah, so
yeah.
by then it's okay, but there are times like because the shelves are like really close together, it's like warehouse, like we're like shifting back and forth. It
To the
does get
shuffle.
really hot out there, and so it's like, we're down to our skinnies, walking through there just
Yep.
trying not to die. And then as soon as we go over to, because we have it separated out where we have a full area where it's packing and picture taking and stuff. That
Hmm.
area has fans and stuff that my dad actually installed for us.
Nice.
So we kick all those on, and all the fans are on, and I have a fan that actually I put at the garage door that is blowing from the in the house out into the garage, so it's pulling
Ooh,
some of the air.
perfect.
Yeah, the AC, so we can get a little bit. And so it's like if you're dying, you go stand in front of that one, because
There
then
you
you'll be
go.
able to like survive like a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing. Other than that, I don't think we have anything out there that's really needing like a climate controlled area.
That makes
So
sense. I
yeah,
thought about it. I wouldn't be in too much trouble, but I don't sell a lot of candles or
no,
things that would melt. So, like you said, just don't buy things that melt.
yeah,
What about
it's
critters? So we get pack rats and rattlesnakes and scorpions and all the icky stuff. So, do you
ew.
ever? deal with that?
Honestly, I think I've seen like the water bugs maybe once or twice in the garage. And then other than that, we get the crickets, but we haven't had any actual issues with animals, but because like we have a cat and she goes out and she's in the garage quite a lot. So, I
There
mean,
you go.
she keeps everything out and everything's pretty sealed up for the most part. I've never seen any kind of critter or anything.
Good.
Which, yeah, and we do make sure to keep our house sprayed around and stuff because, yeah, I mean, our livelihood's in that garage. So we do
Right.
what we can to make sure that it's protected because if
Yep.
it were to ever go up in flames, I'm like, how do we inventory that for insurance purposes, So,
Seriously.
yeah, we do our best to make sure that it is taken care of. It is clean out there and we don't have any of those issues, luckily.
Yeah.
Knock on wood,
That's
though,
great.
right? Because that'll be my next
Yeah,
thing.
imagine someone getting a package and there's like a scorpion crawling out of
Oh
it
my
or
gosh, I will freak
yeah, that
out.
wouldn't be fun.
I would literally freak out.
Right. What would you say is your guys' favorite niche and one you wish you knew more about?
Our favorite one is probably gonna be video games. I mean, I know that's like cliche for resellers, but we both enjoy video games. Fun fact about Cameron, he actually was going for semi-pro to be for playing Halo with the Xbox. So he was actually in tournaments
Ooh.
and everything.
My
And
sister-in-law, she did Call of Duty and oh gosh, she used to tour. She went to
yeah,
Vegas to
oh yeah,
stuff
Cameron
and
went all over the place with his
that'd
team
be
and
funny if they know each other. I'll have to
right.
name
Oh
drop
my
them
gosh,
and
that would
see
be
if
so cool.
she'd do
But
it. She goes by
so
Skittles. So if he knows anyone by the name of Skittles, she's been gaming for probably 20 years.
oh wow.
And that was, I don't know how long ago the tournaments and stuff were, probably 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but yeah, that's funny. Not many people know you can go pro with video
Yeah.
games.
Oh yeah, and he
You get
he would have,
sponsors.
but life caught up with him unfortunately at that time, so he kind of had to put it on the back burner. But
Yeah.
yeah, so but video games are definitely something because it's something that I did with my dad. He taught me how to play on a Super Nintendo, and and we went from there. And my brother and my sister and we all gamed pretty competitively between the three of us on all of our different Nintendo systems. And so there's certain games that he pulls, and I'm like, oh, that's a near and dear game. That's a near
Yeah.
game is near and dear to my heart, And so it's fun, when he's out in the garage, he's testing games, and I'm like, hey, what about me?
Right.
Where's my
We
controller? I
love
want
getting the Guitar Hero because then we get to rock out and plug it in
yes.
and test them. And I
Oh
was
yeah.
just testing one the other day. It's like 30 minutes later. I'm like, okay, I think it's tested.
You're
It
like,
works.
I think it works, but hang on, one more song. Let me make sure this song works.
Yes. And that's the thing with reselling. I think you have to start with what you know and what
Mhm.
you're passionate about.
Oh,
And for
definitely.
me, it's electronics. I've always loved electronics. So
Yeah.
that's just naturally what I go to. And with you in the video game, same thing. Did you watch Kayla's video this week with the video game lot? All right, you
Oh,
gotta watch it. Homeschool
okay.
Picker. She went to a garage sale, and all the comments are blowing up about how she should have just bought the whole box. And she shows up, and it was the mother load. And NES, Super NES. There was a Sega, Ninja Turtle stuff, and tons of games in their box. So like
No.
$200 each, easily on these games. They were priced at $4. She's cherry picking them from this box. And I am screaming at my computer, like, just buy them all. Just buy the box. And
Yeah.
that's what everyone says. Like, offer her $100 and just take the whole box. And she's cherry picking. And then, spoiler alert, she goes through and at the end, she realizes one of the games that she touched and put back would have been the most valuable of all of them. It was a $450 game. And she put it back. Like, if you don't know which game is what, because you can't. Like
No,
there's
you
so
can't.
many of them in there, you can't.
Yeah.
And one game in a box can be $100. One game in a box can be $20. You just
Mhm.
buy them all. When they're $4,
Yeah.
buy them all.
You make it, even if you sell a game for 10, you're making it back on other
You
games
still
because
made your
you
money.
just buy it all. You don't cherry
Just
pick
buy it all.
games. Just buy it all.
Oh my gosh, that was hard to watch. So, as a video game lover, you've got to watch it. She just put it out. What's today? Friday. So, I think it was yesterday she put it out.
Okay.
It's
I'll
hard to
have to check it
watch
out.
because you're like screaming at the screen to,
I feel like
Kayla, just
resellers
buy them.
I feel like resellers who watch other resellers, it's like watching football where you're like, just buy it. Like, how can you do this? Like
Right?
you're yelling at the TV, and it's like
Yep,
people
like
make
you
fun
could
of
do
people
that
for
play
yelling at the
better.
TV, and you're doing the
Yep.
same thing to these resellers. You're like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe you picked that up, or oh my gosh, why didn't you pick that up? And it's
Yes.
funny. It is because every reseller has their thing that they know. And so you're
Yep.
watching, you're like, why can't you hear me? I'm telling you right now to pick this
Yep.
up.
And it's hard to watch yourself back when you're doing a video like that. It took me forever to do videos in the thrift store because I
Yeah.
wasn't ready for everyone to say, you just walked by $1,000. You should have grabbed that. That would have been XYZ dollars. And even myself, if I'm watching it back after the fact, I'm like, why didn't I see that? I should have grabbed that. Like, it's hard to watch it again because you're walking through the store all over again, but you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Well, that's the
So
thing. And
it's hard.
I think it's funny when resellers go, okay, if I missed anything in the comments, let me know. And I'm like, why? Like, you
Right.
think it's going to be
I
there?
guess
Like,
as
you're
a
going to go
learning
back?
experience, like, so like, I do appreciate if someone were to say, oh, by the way, those dishes would have been worth grabbing, then I can go back and see, okay, yeah, what ones. But make sure you tell me the time mark. Don't
Yeah.
just say those dishes because it's a 40-minute video.
Well, and you're in a thrift
So,
store, like Sabers
yes,
walking down the dish aisle. It's like, which one? You mean like,
right. Give me a time mark because I don't know which one it is. So,
right?
I guess it's helpful so you can know what you missed, but it's almost harder because you know you missed it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So, May, why don't you shoot me a DM on Instagram? I don't know if she wants me to blast out her name all over whoever's gonna watch this, but I do have someone I recommend. She's in Phoenix, and she does our taxes, so I can definitely give you her information. So just shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook or wherever else I'm on. I'm on everything. So shoot me a message somewhere, and I can get you her information. So I don't know if she's ready for 50 resellers to call her and say, help me with my taxes. Love the enthusiasm. Thank you, Anthony.
That's my
Excited to
dad.
have you. Oh, how sweet. You got your whole fam bam on here.
Oh, yeah. I sent them the link and I was like, that's where I'm going to be. Just so you know.
That's funny. I forgot that tonight they were doing a game night at church. So I RSVP'd for it. I bought the veggie tray to bring to it. And then yesterday, my husband's like, Jen, tomorrow you have your live. I'm like, of course I do. Why did I not think of this? I've been
Yeah.
promoting it and I totally spaced it. So I sent a text to my friends. I'm like, oh, you guys going? You guys going? And then I wrote back, said, just kidding. I'm not going. I'm the one that was telling them all to go, and then I'm like, whoops, I forgot I had plans. Sorry about that.
Though. That's awesome though.
But all right, let's pick another question here. Oh, what's a niche you want to know more about? So you're a master at video games. What's one you want to learn more on?
That's a hard question. Because we literally sell in like every category that I can think of. But if I had to say, I think maybe jewelry, just because it's widely available, kind of like video games where it's everywhere. Jewelry is everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of costume jewelry can be up there. Like people pay quite a bit of money for costume jewelry. And so, you show up and even like you go into Goodwill and they always have that jar in the front, that front cabinet that's like taped up like crazy. So I think that would be something that would be cool because I mean, there's so much to look for and so many different stamps on things and different pieces and, and so there is a lot to that. I mean, and obviously it's a lot of information you'd have to know.
It is. I tried to learn jewelry and I'm still trying. I was talking with what is her channel? I've had her on the show. Lucy, no, hold on, it'll come to me. She's got a name of the channel, and that's not her real name. I'll think of it in a minute. But I've had her on, and we're talking about all the different types, like the 925s and
Yeah.
like all the different numbers and letters that can be on jewelry to mean something. And we're supposed to go and actually do a live and unbox everything. So I bought a couple of those random
Yeah.
mystery bins, and I sent her one. So I'm like, okay, we've got to unbox these together and see like what we can learn, or if I just bought a box of junk and that's fine. It was $10. At least I got a video out of it. But
Yeah.
I want to learn, just like with video games, when you go down and you're like, okay, Mario, yes, this one, yes. Like I want to know instantly what to grab.
Yeah.
And I am so far from it. And I'd spend way more time trying to figure that out. So I need to learn the I. So I'm with you. Welcome, Savvy. Excited to have you. And Paula, that was so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Your favorite way to source. Where do you guys get your inventory?
Everywhere. But I don't know. I think I like, for not like a specific place, but I like something that has like a lot. Like you go, like I like bin stores because you go in and it's just like this bucket of treasures, and you just sit there and you're like, nope, 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 yes, nope, 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 yes, and it's fun. Like we have a newer bin store in our area, and just going in there and just the line of bins and just go in and just like, it's like a treasure hunt. It really is. And then, for us, it's like, it's more Amazon pallets of like bulk items. So Cameron will find so Cameron will find something and he holds it up for me and he's like, this, look for this. And so then, we're both on opposite ends of the stores. Like, okay, I'm looking for that specific thing and we'll find, a few of each thing, which is awesome, because multi-quantity listings are the way to go. So
exactly.
I mean,
it's nice that you guys do it together and you both know what to look for. So you can divide and conquer, whether you're at garage sales or thrift stores or bin stores. I've recently refound my love for the bins, the Goodwill outlet bins, because I took my daughter for the first time maybe 2 weeks ago. And she hated it. She absolutely hated it. It's dark. They're in a warehouse. They've moved. So they're now in a warehouse and air conditioning is awful. So I'm in there just dripping sweat. Like it is so muggy and there's so many people. So it smells really bad. And I mean, it takes a special kind of person to stay in there for hours because you want to take a shower when you leave. But I went back. What's today? Friday? I keep asking that. I think I went yesterday or Wednesday. I think it was yesterday. My days all blend together. I think it was yesterday I went, and it's addicting because you want to wait for the next bin. So my husband calls like, okay, are you going to Costco yet? I'm like, no, I'm waiting for another bin. I'm waiting for another bin. And the last bin had a Cricut machine, but then it had all the cartridges. So I just grabbed a nearby box and just started shoving all the cartridges. And of course, the guy next to me starts grabbing them because he sees me grab them. Rude. But then I probably got 15 different cartridges, and I think I paid $10 for all of it.
That is awesome.
I mean, it's not a huge flip, but it's enough to make the trip worth it.
Well, and right now with the Cricuts being so popular after COVID and everything, it's something that it'll sell pretty quick because it's popular.
I've been sitting on the machines. Those aren't selling as fast for me. So that one's actually going to my garage sale next week, but the cartridges are still flipping. So I've got to go through them, but it's addicting. And I could see why people spend like the whole day there because you want to wait for the next ones. I found a Burton ski boot or skateboard boot. Is that what it's called? Not skateboard. Snowboard boot. Yes. Burton white, super clean. There was only one of them. So I held on to that boot for like 45 minutes, waiting for another boot to show up, and it never did. So I put it back. I'm like, I know I could probably sell it to an amputee, but then the chances of them being in snowboarding, being that size, and having and I guess they don't need a match, but being that size in snowboarding, I'd sit on it forever. So I did
Yeah.
find out the jewelry lady is Lily Works. Her name is Rachel, and she is a jewelry master. So
All
check out
right.
her channel if you want to learn
Okay.
jewelry because she does hauls, she does what solds, and she gives a lot of information. So, side
Cool.
note, follow her
Okay.
too.
Lily Works. Got you.
All right. Then let's see. Your favorite thing about the business, about reselling.
Um, Honestly, for me personally, it's that my husband and I get to do it together.
That's awesome.
It's something that we, even YouTube, we can do it together. We have fun making the videos, at night, after the kids go to bed. It's just us out in the garage. I'm packing, he's taking pictures,
Yeah.
putting in, spreadsheets and stuff. And we just get to talk about our day. He tells me, about how his other job, how it went today, or I'll tell him about a cleaning job I had, or we'll talk about the kids. We'll talk about our week. It's something that we can do together that I feel like might be something that's not as common anymore, because you see it all the time where a couple spending time together is like each of them on their own phones sitting next to each
Right.
other.
They're sitting
you
watching
know
a TV or watching a movie,
Mhm.
but one's on a phone here, one's on a phone
Yeah.
here. They're not
And
doing
so,
anything, watching the movie.
yeah, you're not watching the movie, but it's not, you're not interacting as much. And so I think for
Right.
us, being that we can be out in the garage and yeah, we're doing stuff, but we're able to look at each other, we're focused on each other while, I'm packing a box and I'm like, oh yeah, that's funny, and
Right.
it's something that we, can do together. And I think that's probably my favorite thing, is that it's brought us together.
That's awesome. Did you ever think you'd be a reseller before, Cameron? Did you ever think like this
No.
whole world existed?
No. I mean, I when Poshmark started, I had some clothes and I was like, "Oh yeah, Poshmark. Okay, cool. I can be that girl." And so I sold like 4 items on there, and then it was like, "Ugh, this is like a lot of work. I'm not going to do this anymore."
Yeah.
But after that, it's like,
How funny. Christopher's got a question. Do you each have certain things that you do? For instance, does one list and one ship?
Yes,
What
we
are your
do.
roles?
So Cameron is pictures and listing, and then he puts away the inventory as well, because I'm like, ugh, at the end of the day, I don't want to go and put stuff back where I just pulled stuff out of. And then I pull the orders, and I am kind of like the customer service rep. So I answer all
Okay.
the questions, and pull stuff and take pictures or measurements for people, and then I do all of the packing and the shipping part. So we do
Yeah.
have our respective roles.
That seems like a good split. That's a good
Yeah.
like 50-50
Yeah.
for sure. Let's see. What is your biggest pet peeve in this business? You said you deal with the customer service, so that's probably part of it.
Um Honestly, it's not as hard as when I was working at UPS and actually face to face with customers, because
Okay.
I'm behind a computer screen at this point. I can
Right.
just type whatever I want, and it's like, what are you gonna do? you know.
Right.
But um, oh, biggest pet peeve is probably when for me, it's when eBay or the reselling items are spilling out of the garage and into the house, because that
Okay.
was one of my rules with Cameron. I told him, I said, okay, if we go and we have our business at our home, I want our business to stay where the business is supposed to stay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I already am a horrible housekeeper, so I don't need extra stuff to have to
We
work
always say
around or
that
deal
people
with.
that clean houses always have the messiest
Oh yeah.
houses.
No, my Cameron tells me I am the mechanic with the broke down car. I I clean people's houses and I make good money doing it, but my house, you would not guess that I clean houses.
Yep. Well, it's because you're too tired. By then, you're
Oh
like,
yeah,
I've been
no.
cleaning all day.
No, I do not want
You
to
don't
come
even
home
get
and
any of the
scrub my
reward.
toilet. Yeah, after I scrub
Yep.
someone else's, no thank you.
How funny. Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
What are some of your best and your worst buys or flips?
Some of our best, one of our best ones was probably our Disney 330 buy. Cameron paid $330 for a bunch of Disney stuff, and most of it was the specialized Disney ornaments that are based on each movie and stuff. And it had a bunch of Tigger stuff. But in that buy, there was a Rapunzel one from Tangled, where it's her and Eugene, and they're getting married, and she's got her brown hair, and that specific ornament sold for over $300. So, and you know,
so one ornament paid for the entire lot.
Took care of the whole lot, and it was one of the first ones to sell too. So it was pretty cool. And so, and it's just cute. It's so cute because I'm a Disney girl, straight up. Like, if I could afford it, I'd be there all the time. But just having those adorable little ornaments and seeing all of them, and when we would sell a new one, and I'm like, oh, I remember that one. Oh, I wish I could have kept this one, you know, like, this one's so cute. And so that's probably one of our best ones, just because of the value that was in there. Because, you know, unfortunately, Disney creates some Disney freaks out there, and they live and breathe by Disney. So that is one of those things that will never die, and people will buy Disney forever. So that was one of our coolest ones. The worst one is probably the circus bears. We do those circus bears are probably going to be with us till we die. You know, I don't know if they're ever really going to sell, or if it's one of those things that Cameron just might have to get rid of, because he doesn't.
Just
Cameron,
to stop looking at them.
Yeah, and the hard part is where we do our video, they're right above us on the top shelf, right above us. So we look at them every single day. They are the bane of our existence, really. And
is it that lion, that plastic lion that's right behind you?
No. Our plastic lion is one of our favorite ones. So that's something we had, and somebody sent us another one of that. No, these bears are the I'll
have to go back and I spy it.
Yeah, they're the let me look. Hang on. I'm going to tell you right now. But they're these bears that have like a skeleton in them, and so they're posable, but their faces are made of wood. But these bears are all dressed up like circus characters. But they're not moving. They're just kind of there. And we've had them for a while. The Robert Rake's circus bears. And they're not little, let me tell you. They're like 2 feet tall each bear, and we have like.
And how long have you had them?
Oh, I don't even know. Too long. they're like a permanent fixture up there right now. I don't know if they're ever gonna move. Cameron, we've had them since COVID 2020.
Wow, it might be time to garage sell them just so they can stop staring at you.
Right? Like, I know. Cameron does not get rid of things. He will leave something listed up, because like some of the stuff that has sold recently is very old, and we can tell by the backgrounds, because as you know, he changes the background every now and then, and so there's some of them that pop up, and I'm like, dang, like, we still have that? Right? Oh my gosh.
When I first started, I got this paper from like Hobby Lobby, Michael, something that looks like fake wood. Yeah. Or it looks like wood, and it's just paper. So I laid my stuff on there, and if I randomly sell something with that background, I'm like, this is at least 4 years old. Like, why do I still have it? So this last 3 weeks, I'm having a garage sale this next Friday and Saturday, finally clearing out inventory. And I'm pulling stuff from 2019. I'm like, why do I still have this? Yeah. So those are the things that are going. I had Happy Meal toys. I had like those little not Beyblades, but they were kind of like that. Just a little toy that's worth maybe $6. And just so much stuff that I never would buy again. Never. Yeah. Like, you couldn't pay me to go spend a quarter. Like, you couldn't even pay me to take those items to list, because they're so not worth it. And it's just amazing what you can learn. So thinking of the stuff that you bought 2 years, COVID years ago, you wouldn't buy it again today. So let it go. And I think
that's also, you can tell how much you've grown as a reseller. based on your items. And, you know, when you see old items, you're like, dang, I really bought this? Like, you're like, oh, wait, that was like a newbie reseller me, you know, compared to where I am today.
Exactly.
But yeah,
But
Cameron,
once you clean it,
he's
you'll
hard about it.
realize. So my husband's a big numbers guy and he likes comparing all the stats. And he was looking at before I did the cleanse, I had just over 1,000 items in my store, but it says like the dollar amount of what the value was. I removed almost 200 items and the value went down less than $1,000, like less than $500. It was crazy how little, he'd remember, not me, but it was a very small amount that it went down by clearing 200 items.
Yeah.
And like, okay, that's why those items needed to go. I'm not going to sit on 200 items, which it was 2 carloads. We're doing the sale at my sister's mother-in-law's house because they're in a better subdivision to do a sale. So we've been loading it up and bringing it to that garage. 2 cars have gone 2 times. That's how much stuff I have going to the sale. So all of that was in my storage room, like, and it wouldn't have even made me $200. Like, why was I holding all of this to maybe make $200 when I can go out and buy 5 things to make 200 rather than 200 things to make 200? Like, it's just such a different mindset for as you mature and the different things that you buy now and you definitely wouldn't buy, or you bought then but you wouldn't buy it now.
Yeah, definitely. That's totally agreeable right there. But I think the hard part is that you don't realize it until you do something like that, where you do a purge. Because I mean, for you, that you just knew that those items were in your store, and oh gosh.
Oh, you're back. You're good.
Am I back? There it goes. Okay. But yeah, you don't realize what you have in your store until you do that. And I think it's for you, it's like you look in there and you go, nope, that's money. But then when you really look at it, it's like, wait a minute, how much money is it actually?
Exactly. And I'll probably make the $200 back doing the garage sale. Like, I'd rather get rid of it and all the shelf space that it cleared. Because Christopher up here was just saying, like, all the inventory on the floor. Nope, not that one. Well, this one. All the inventory on the floor, that was me. I was so full on my shelves that I started little piles next to the shelves. I'm like, no. This is too much stuff. I can't go up 10-foot ceiling and I still can't go any higher. Like, that's how high things were stacked. So that's it's time to clear it out. So now everything's off the floor. I got rid of even like a full bag of golf clubs, including an actual bag. So there was a bunch of clubs in there, and there were clubs that are worth like less than $10. Like, they take too long and too much effort to ship to make less than $10. So like, I want the $50 clubs, the $60 clubs, those all stayed, but those little $10 to $15 clubs going to the garage sale. So just clearing out a lot of that big stuff. I now have everything off my floor and 2 empty shelves completely. So it's amazing how much space that cleared up. And then a ton of my boxes are wide open, so I can stuff tons of stuff. And this is our slow season, like barely any sales right now because of the heat. We're gonna pick up here September, October. I need the space because that's when sourcing gets serious.
Yeah. Well, no, and it's gonna be awesome for you because you're not gonna have to ship that stuff. You're not gonna have to store that stuff. You don't have to pay fees on that stuff. So
100% of it is whatever does not sell is not coming back. So whatever is left goes to the donation, except one thing. There's one thing I brought there that I am financially vested to, and if it doesn't sell, I'm keeping them. And it's my Starbucks mug collection. That wasn't my bad buy. I bought a bunch of tumblers. So I bought mugs originally, maybe 2 years ago, all over the country. It was a military family. So these were like very rare German fancy country mugs, and they sold for hundreds. But then I found all these tumblers, and I'm like, okay, she wanted like 15 a piece. I talked her down to like 8 a piece by buying them all. Still shouldn't have bought them all. So I'm sitting on way too many of them, probably like $200 worth. So if they don't sell at the sale, I'm not giving them away. They'll just come back and I'll whatnot them or something, because like, they'll get paid too much for those. I'm not giving them for a quarter.
That's the hard part right there. Yeah. Cause you're like, oh crap. You know, you have to, you got those negative signs in your head. You're like, oh no, not the negatives.
I know. Exactly. I gotta, that's what's gonna be hard. This is my first time doing a garage sale as a reseller. I've
Yeah.
done them before. I even knew the world of reselling, and I'm sure I gave away so much stuff I can't even think about. But as a reseller, it's hard to take so little for it. So you're like, oh,
Mhm.
I could have got $50 for that on eBay, but sure, you can have it for $3. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, but I've had it for so many years, so it's going to be a little mental battle. Like, no, Jennifer, you've had it for too long and it didn't sell for $50, so make $10 and walk away. Like, it's going to be hard, but
It is.
oh,
It is.
thank you, Coco. I can do it. Well, you just did it. You just did a big garage sale, and gosh, you said you made over $1,000. So, gosh, if I can make 500, I'll be thrilled.
Yeah.
And to
Oh
get rid
yeah.
of all that stuff.
If you could make back what your store's difference would have been.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly the way I need to think of it.
Yeah.
And the cost of good is a fraction of that because a lot of the stuff I would have picked up for less than $5. So
Mhm.
even though, yeah, it's worth so much on eBay, I want to get rid of it and at least make back what I paid for it. So
Yeah.
that is a great way to think of it. As long as you get your money back and a little extra. Yep,
Just a
exactly.
little. Just a little extra.
Just a little. But really, it's all going to be a win because it's been sitting in my store for over 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think it's just done. I've already bought it. It's just let it go.
Yeah.
All
Honestly.
right. Well, let's see. Okay, we did that one. Your most recent best buy or flip. So the circus stuff is older. Is there any new stuff that you're learning from still?
Ooh,
Because I still make mistakes even now because I don't know if it's just me or why it does it. When you're outsourcing, the comps are different than when you get back home to list it.
they
And
are.
I've noticed that so many times. And I'm like, okay, I wouldn't have bought this. Now there's like 4 sold. Why did I buy this? And
Yeah.
because in the store it looked like it was more. I don't know why it does it.
No, I get you because like we were at the store, we were at one of our local thrift stores the other day, and we came home, and I was like feeling like high and mighty. I'm like, oh, look at this bag of stuff I got. Like, oh, look at this, Cameron. And he looks at it, and he's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know what I'm talking
Right?
about."
Can't you see my
And
face?
yeah, do you not see this excitement? Like, look at what I bought. And there's some stuff he listed, and he's like, well, I don't know if it's as much as you thought it was gonna be, but and I'm like, "Ugh, what are you talking about? Like I looked it up. I know what I'm
Right?
talking about." And he's like, well, and I'm like, whatever, whatever.
Yep.
That ain't even it, but okay.
Yep.
um,
And mine was on film. It was on film. I had just bought these Apple AirPorts. And some of it was by memory because COVID days, these were selling for like $50 like hotcakes.
yeah,
And so I see 3 of them for $15 each and I grabbed them as fast as I could. And I did a quick look up while I was there and I was still pretty confident. But then I get home and of course hubby has to burst the bubble like those aren't worth what you thought because he's editing my video. And so in the video I'm like, "Oh yeah, these are worth $50." And he wants to go and find the comps to put in the video and he's like, nope, those aren't worth $50." So yeah, we all do it. We all do it.
that's
What
for sure.
about your best finds or flips recently?
Probably recently that I specifically have found. Probably a bunch of these cute little trinket boxes. They're like this big, but they're all like different. So like we just around the time that Titanic tragedy happened, we sold one that was a little mini Titanic on this trinket box, and I got them at Savers, and it was like probably 6 or 7 in each bag, and each bag was like $6 or $7. So I paid like $1 a piece, and they're all selling for like $15 to $20 each. So it's not like a
Nice.
major
But you paid
profit.
$1.
Yeah, but I paid like $1 each, and they're so cute. They're just
Yeah.
adorable. You know, like there's
And
even one that's
little, so they're
like
easy
an
to ship.
armchair, and it opens up, and
That's
they're just
awesome.
so cute, and I couldn't pass them up. And I saw them, I'm like, yes, I'm buying all of them. And so I went through
Yep.
the entire wall and got them all. And I was like, Cameron comes over, he goes, what's all this? And I'm like, it's the best find ever. Like it's so
Yes.
cool. And so he's like, okay, yeah, I mean, it'll make some money on it and stuff. But I'm like, yeah, it will. Duh.
Right.
But
Yeah,
it
it's
was
hard
just,
when you see something that's like you fall in love with. I bought this little bird. There's like a bird house. It's probably like 2 inches. It's a little guy. He's metal, but it's a stamp dispenser. So you open up the front door and you can put a roll of stamps in there, and it comes out the side, and it's got the cutest paint job. Like it's probably worth like $10 or $15, but
yeah,
it is so cute. Just a
yeah,
little birdhouse stamp dispenser. And no
that's
one uses stamps
adorable.
anymore, but someone would.
Yeah, I know
Texas
somebody
Lady
will.
had a question here I wanted to answer real quick. How long to wait if a person doesn't pay? I have eBay set to an automatic 3 days. So
Mhm.
you can go into the settings and have it where if it's not paid in 3 days, it automatically cancels, gives them some kind of ding, even though I don't know if it does anything, but it gives them a ding and automatically relists it. So it's an automated system. If they don't pay in 3 days, I don't play games. I don't sit and wait. I don't message them. I just keep selling more stuff. So definitely recommend setting it on automatic.
Mhm. We
9 days,
will,
that's
yeah,
way too long.
we'll hold the item for them if they specifically message us, and say, "Hey, I'm not getting paid till Friday. Can I pay you on Friday?" And it's like a Monday or something. It's like, okay, fine, But Friday comes around, if we don't hear anything or get any money, it's like, you're done, and we
I'm
just
not even that
move on.
nice. I don't even hold it.
Oh,
If they ask me, I'm like, if it's here, it's here. Chances are it is. I mean, I'm not
yeah,
selling anything that's super hot, but yeah, I mean, and when they buy it just to hold it for themselves and wait the days, that just bugs me. So, I mean, I guess if someone asked nicely, I might, depending
yeah,
on the day, but nope. Buy it when you got the money, money, honey.
right.
All
That's funny.
right. How many items do you list a day? That's a great question, Christopher. How about that, Linda?
Yeah. So when Cameron's listing, he tries to get between 20 to 30 items listed a day.
Holy
Um,
moly.
yeah,
That's
he's
a lot.
crazy. Yeah. So he does, like, right now we've changed up our schedule with, with school starting and everything. And so he's getting up in the morning and taking his pictures and stuff. So like some days he'll do a clothes pictures day, and other days it's just, he's taking pictures of, he's going out to his pile where he's come in from a garage sale or something. He's just pulling things and checking in picture.
Mhm.
And then at night, when it's wind down time, we go and we sit and, I catch up on other stuff. Like I'm doing laundry or something, he's listing. And so he does try to get as many as he can without wearing himself out to the point where he's like exhausted. So, but yeah,
20 items is a lot. Like, I
yeah,
don't even list that many, and I do this full time. So
yeah,
he does this part time, and that's a lot of listings. So,
yeah,
mad props.
yeah, he
How
does.
many
He
items
does
do you guys
really
have
good.
in your store?
I think we're at 5,400.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it's a lot. Let me see.
Oh
I'll
my
tell you
goodness.
exactly. Right now, oh, sorry, active right now, 5,676 listings. So yeah, there's a lot.
I thought my 1,000 was a lot. Like, I'm happy to have it down in the 800s. Like, wow, that's a lot
Yeah,
of
no,
stuff. And to not have an inventory, Linda?
I
How
know,
in the world?
I know. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm like, okay, I reached 50 and I started inventorying. Like, I would have stopped maybe at 100, 200. Like, you're at 5,000
Yeah.
and it's all based on memory. That's just mad
Next
props
question.
because
Next
there's no
question.
way. Wow. That
I
I'm
know.
blown away. You can find your stuff.
I,
That's
girl, you're telling me.
wow.
I know, it's
How do
so
you,
bad.
yeah, how do you keep track? Coco, she's just like superhuman and knows exactly where everything's at. No
I
inventory.
mean, everything is kind of like in certain areas. Like
Okay, that helps.
I know that
Books are
the
over
books are
here,
on the
clothes are
back shelf.
here.
Yeah, so we do have it at least organized that way. Like certain areas, like it goes books, shoes, clothes, kitchen, toys, stuffed animals, tools, electronics, and then we have DVDs and video games along one wall, and then there's stuff that's a little up higher that we have to get the ladder to get to and stuff. But I mean, yeah, it's organized by space. by section.
Oh,
But
wow. I mean, I guess if you
yeah.
have the space and you can like segregate like you have, I think that obviously helps. You can do it.
Yeah,
I'd
I
still
mean, it
go
works for
crazy.
us, but I wouldn't send somebody out there like, "Hey, go
Right.
find this," because they might get lost.
Yep, exactly. Oh, Mary made it. Yay. Excited to have you. They'd probably play Marco Polo with their items. Wouldn't that be fun if they would start hollering back, like, I'm over here? That would help.
That would help so much. Because there's
Ooh, make a
sometimes.
video of your garage and how everything is. Have you ever done a tour, or you guys just stick to the what sold usually, right?
Yeah, we've talked about doing a tour, but Cameron's kind of
Don't
like,
be
"Let
embarrassed.
me let
Like,
me clean it up a little more before we do a tour," and I'm like, "No, we need the
don't. We
nitty-gritty.
want
It's
to see the
all
messy.
raw, just how it
Yep.
is."
That's when I did a more recent one. I was just like, all right, F it. I'm just gonna go through and just show it all. Like it was not tidy. I still had crap on my work desk. Box pile was just as big as it always is. Like, no, we want to see it all in its daily messy. Organized chaos, as Coco says.
It
Yes.
it is. It literally is. It's chaos. I don't even know if it's organized all the way. It might just be like, it's okay chaos. Like,
At least you know where everything is. So that
yeah,
is all that matters.
literally.
Wow. All right. So, your biggest obstacle, other than your inventory, that you have to overcome as a reseller and a mom.
Um, I'd have to say, I was really thinking about this question earlier when I was going over the questions, and I was like, "Oh crap, what is my biggest over thing?" And I think for me, it's when my kids are like, "Hey, mom, can you come do this?" And I'm like, "Hang on, let me finish pulling orders." Or they're
Yeah,
like, "Mommy, can you come lay with us?" And I'm like, let me finish the video first and then I'll come lay with you." Or they're
right.
like, "Oh, can we go do this?" And I'm like, "Well, we can, but we just have to make sure that we're home in time for us to pull orders." And
Right.
so I feel like a lot of our interactions are based on timing of what's going on with the business. So that,
I see that as
yeah.
I think that's a good thing. It shows your ambitions and your like you're working for the family. And
Mhm.
for me, it's hard when they ask for specifics. My son loves books, so he'll come up, "Oh, read to me." And I'm like, hold on, let me crush your spirit. I need to finish what I'm doing and then we
Yeah.
can read. Like
Yeah.
it's hard when they're that little and they just want your time, but I think in the end they will appreciate it when they have all the fun things. And that's what my husband tells my daughter all the time. Like, quit complaining that we're going garage sailing because this is how you get stuff. Like this is
Yeah.
how we buy your clothes and how you get your toys and do the fun stuff is because eBay pays for it. So
Yeah.
kind of have to remind them, but at 8 and 3, they don't care. They just want your
No.
time.
Yeah, they're like,
All right,
"That
got
that's
another
cool,
vote
but,
for got another vote for tour.
all right.
We've got 3 votes so far. All
We're gonna have to
right, I'm
do
sure
it,
I can get
honey."
more if we started a poll over here. That's me right now, but it's hard. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Hers is how old is your daughter? 3 now or still 2? She's like 2 or 3. So right in the age of our youngest.
Yeah.
It's a struggle trying to balance that. All right, we've got my favorite question. Your favorite reseller tip that you wish everyone knew?
Not everything is a bolo.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, but I mean, other than that, that's my snarky one. But other than that, I would say my favorite reseller tip is probably to just stick with what you know. Don't go out and just be like, "This looks good, I'm gonna buy it. This looks good, I'm gonna buy it." Like, if you know
Right.
something, start with that and then learn more. Because otherwise you're gonna end up with a bunch of stuff and you're gonna be like, "How do I price it? How do I know it works?" If you buy
Yep.
electronics, like obviously if you buy electronics, you got to know how to test them. You got to know how it works.
Yep.
Otherwise, how are you going to sell it? Because you can't
Yeah. I've
sell
had people
trash.
ask, like, oh, how do you test your Wii games? How do you test your guitars? I'm like, we have every game system.
Yeah.
And we make sure I do. Like, we're an Xbox family, so we naturally have all the Xboxes, and then I've got a PlayStation and in a cubby ready to pull out that I've paid less than $50 for at a garage sale just to have. And same with the Wii. It's put away, but I can pull it out to test stuff. Like, you have to. And if it's stuff that you can't test, just know that there's a chance you're going to get it back.
Yeah, exactly. And
like
so that's,
NES, SNES, I don't test those, but
no.
like, it's, yes, some stuff you take a risk, but definitely have the tools to test your items.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't say, you know, oh, let me, you know, just, I wouldn't go out and start buying every piece of jewelry, because I'm going to end up, you know, putting out so much money, and I'm probably not going to get it back in return if I don't know what I have, you know? So I'd say the best reseller tip I have is that you need to stick with what you know. And as you learn more, then you can go out and you can buy, or as you grow your business enough to have tools and resources to, you know, do more, to test more and everything, then you can continue on. But I wouldn't go out and start buying every kind of game and every kind of electronic, because unless you know it, it's not going to work for you.
100%. 100%. All right, Mary's got a bolo. How do you, okay, I'm in a desert and I still butcher that name. I'm not even gonna try to say it, but the cactus, yes. And there's some that have like more branches and they're dried out, and they're definitely sought after. We get them a lot here. Like, I live in a desert, so I go hunting for them. But when people are trying to sell them, they go quick, crazy quick.
That's interesting. Okay.
Choya. That's how you say it. I was about to throw some Jew in like Hala, but that's the wrong thing.
I don't know. I was going Chola. Like, I mean.
Yep. Now, how did I even say it now? It's a K, isn't it? Okay, forget it.
Chaya.
What color? Okay, now I don't even remember. I had it for a second, and that's all you get. Okay. Every major console, yes. If you're gonna take it serious, you have to. And don't buy it new. I mean, buy it either on eBay or find one at a yard sale, but it's always good to have it.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. I have a lot of that from Mexico. Yep.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
The vintage things, but not everyone does. It can be hard to sell.
Yeah, that's true.
You've got to learn the type of vintage that sells. And there's a reseller in my neighborhood who loves antique furniture. So anytime I see something that looks like antique furniture, I just shoot her a text like, hey, I found this. Are you interested? She's like, oh, no, that's 260s. That's 250s. This one needs to be redone. Like, she knows it. But to me, I'm like, it's all antique. So I don't know. But yeah, the vintage stuff, you have to really know which era is the current hot vintage. Yeah. Just because it's 60, 70 years old doesn't mean that everyone wants it. Like,
well, I think, isn't it after 20 years it's considered vintage? So, I mean, 2003, I mean, I don't know if a piece of furniture from, I don't know if a piece of furniture from 2003 is going to be considered in style just
one of those like big Papa San chairs. Yep, those are antique now.
That's so sad.
Do you have access to in the wild worth sourcing? Yeah, except I have to fight the rattlesnakes and all the javelina and whoever else is out in the desert. So I will, Choya. Thank you.
Choya.
I knew I was going to say it. It's, the CH.
Choya. Okay.
I probably couldn't say it again if I had to without looking at your pronunciation. So, it's like lizards. They're gold in Vermont, but in Florida, they're all over the place. Yeah. We have lots of lizards too, but they're not lethal. It's the other one that's bad is the Gila monsters. They're a type of lizard, but they're big and they're poisonous. And they've got like red spots all over them. And we've seen them around. You just kind of leave them be and they eventually just shuffle along. But yeah, I'm not going digging in the desert for some Choya bones.
No, thank you.
I got all my consoles off Facebook Marketplace. That's the way to do them. Yep, Chris, you're vintage, just like I am. I'm apparently almost antique. What is antique? 30 years? So I'm over antique. I don't know. I'll have to Google it, but I think antique is or vintage. Are they the same? Vintage and antique?
You know, I want to say no. I want to say antique is older than a vintage item.
All right, someone Google that because I wonder if I'm antique now. I'm almost 40. I might almost be antique. Ooh, retro, Mary. I like that word better.
Okay, that's way better than antique. I don't, yeah,
Yeah,
antique makes you go like old, yucky, yellowing kind of, but
right.
retro's cool. Retro's
That's
cool.
a cool one. Yeah, we're going retro.
I'll go retro.
I'm a grandmother reseller. Enjoy this channel a lot. Thank you very much, Texas lady. Antique is 75 years.
Oh,
All right, so what year
dang.
does that put us at? The 40s
Is it
ish?
23? Ooh, I'm doing the math. Hang on.
I know, I
52.
want to say late 40s, but
Yeah, I would think late 40s, early
okay.
50s. Right now, late 40s, early 50s. That's antique. Dang.
Wow. Oh, you're
Oh,
60, so you're almost antique. Just got a little ways to go. Oh,
she's still
Coco said
vintage.
antique. Yep, yep. Antique's
100.
100 years. I
Okay.
guess that's funny. I'm older than 40. So you're what did we say? Retro. We're going retro.
Retro. We're going retro.
Yes. Okay, I'm not antique yet. All right, we got another vote for antique is 100. So
All right.
I'm sure someone's gonna argue it out in the world, but I'll go with 100. That
Yeah.
sounds better.
Then we don't have to be considered antique for a while.
Exactly. We got a ways to go. Okay, so how would you wow. How would you describe your business growing? What are some of your goals and where do you want to see reselling and YouTube and everything going?
Um, so for as far as YouTube, obviously everyone tries to get their toes in the water on the YouTube and hope that you hit it big and eventually be able
Right.
to make a car payment with your YouTube, Um,
That'll be great when we get there.
right. So I mean that would be the only thing. Maybe expanding on the type of videos we do with YouTube. It's just Cameron's a little gun shy on that one, just because he's like, I don't know. I mean, what if I'm breathing too heavy? What if a camera's all weird? What if people out there ask me what I'm doing? And I'm like, we literally watch people all day long and they're like, oh yeah, I do a YouTube video.
You
Like,
just
it's
have to
not,
just not
you
care.
just say
You
it,
just have to
yeah.
not
And
care.
so
The
he's
first
he's
one's the hardest, but then it becomes a breeze because you think everyone's staring at you,
yeah.
especially when you're wearing a chest strap. And I've changed my straps. I was wearing like the full harness. I'm like, okay, that made me look like, I don't know, something very, very strange. So we stopped that. And then I got the magnet because someone, I think, Mary, I think you were the one that was telling me about the magnet. That one's awesome. It's got its purpose. So I wear a crossbody purse. So I
Uh-huh.
magneted it to the strap,
Oh,
but
okay.
then the weight was causing it to go down. So then my filming was going up. So that entire video is pretty much at chest and the ceiling. So I'm like, okay, that didn't work.
That's
So
awesome.
then I did, now I'm wearing a necklace one. They have one that goes around your neck and it
Okay.
holds it higher. So it's like right above my like breastbone here. And that
Okay.
seems to get the better angle. But I'm wearing this like big clunky necklace.
Yeah.
So you gotta find what works for you, but no one's staring at you. I tell
Well,
myself I'm not that
yeah.
important. No one gives a crap what I'm doing.
Well, and that's what I tell
And
him.
I
I'm like,
also,
it's okay. You can do it. I
yeah,
promise. It's not gonna be bad.
yeah. And then my kind of cheat is I do voiceover when I get home. So I'm not talking to myself as I'm walking through the store. Plus,
Yeah,
it
you
makes it
might
when
look
you're
a
making,
little crazy.
yeah, I know. I don't know how they do it. Like, I know Kayla talks to herself out there, but the biggest thing is we do a lot of editing when the video is that long. I'm spending over an hour at Savers. We have to cut it down.
Yeah.
So if I was giving good talking nuggets at a certain boring part, it's going to get cut out. So
Uh-huh.
that's why I think it's better and more beneficial to voice over after, and then I can just talk over the footage that we kept.
Yeah. No, that's some good stuff that hopefully we'll get to one day, would be to have our YouTube get to bigger and we could, do more types of videos. And then as far as like the business part of it, right now I think we're growing just in our numbers and obviously our inventory and what we're learning and what we're doing, but I think our next thing as far as the business is going to be more room. So getting the shed and, moving things out of the garage to where we have more area for other things, and having like different sheds. I think for me personally, I'd like to have us have two sheds in the back, where one is clothes and shoes and stuff like that, and then the other one be for bigger, bulkier items that can be
there
off
you go.
the side. So I think that's where we want to get to, is that we have it organized more like that. And then obviously organization would be one thing. It's funny because when we bought the house, I was way preggo with Tori at the time. And so I was like, oh yeah, don't worry, I'll help you. When we move from the storage units to the garage, I'll help you. We're going to make this super organized, fancy bins. We're going to do it. And then I ended up having Tori. And so Cameron just kind of loaded everything up from the storage units and brought it over. So we didn't get to do the organization like we wanted. But I mean, we're working on it. We're going slowly but surely. We've got our shoes organized pretty good. And then we just did, what did we just do? We just did another section where we went through every single item of that piece and made sure that it's listed properly, listed for a good price. Pictures are good. Everything is, the way we want it to be, up to a good par. So I think as we're going on, we're working on different sections and just keeping it up.
Well, that's what's good with any kind of inventory, is it's easier to grab a section and then see how either you're going to relist or sell similar or redonate or take to. Goodness, I'm hoping you guys can't hear all of that. But
not a lot, no. Every now and then I'll hear a little bit of a eat, but that's it. You're good.
Okay, good. So it's nice because like with mine, with the bins or with bags or however you do it, you can just pull one bin and it's a lot easier to digest reorganizing a bin of 10 things than thinking, oh, I need to go through my entire store. So that's what I like about it, is it turns it into like little bite-sized pieces. But like I said, if you're going through all your shoes or all your clothes, kind of the same idea.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Let's see. I was up here. Mary was saying, right down here. I actually like it looking up versus down. They both have its perk. I mean, down you're just staring at a lot of butts. But up you're missing a lot of shelves. Yeah. So you got to find that right in the middle. And Mary said it perfectly, right at your nipple height. But I'll try. Like I said, right here seems to be better, because if I go too low, it was just flopping in weird places.
Plus, you got to worry about what your nipple height is.
Right? Well, yeah, that might be too high or too low. Or all right, next question. I think the antique status might differ depending on the item. That's a good idea. Maybe. All right. Oh yeah, you got your GoPro working, so figure out what I like best. Yeah. That's just it. There's so many different mounts now, and I bought both because my husband's like, oh, the neck one's going to be more comfortable, but I'm like, oh, but everyone loves the magnet one, so we got both, and I can see them both having a perk. If I were wearing a thicker shirt, like a sweatshirt or something, if it wasn't 1,000,000 degrees, then I could just magnet it to the shirt. But if I'm wearing like a tank top, it's just going to droop. So when I start wearing more clothing, I can see the magnet doing better. But I know still go through straps and shirts. There was someone I saw that made like their own, like the magnet went inside like a pouch, and then they still put the straps, but it was under their shirt. It was the weirdest thing, but it made it where like the straps were hidden, but the camera like peeked through the shirt. I don't know. That's getting fancy. So like this one
cut a hole and just have your little looks like a little button,
like little spy camera. I think that would be a little more obvious than just strapping on the whole camera.
Well, one reseller does do the glasses camera, doesn't they? Who is it?
Really?
There is. I know of one that does the glasses camera. Oh crap! Who is it?
That's an interesting view.
I'll remember it. But yeah, the glasses one would be cool.
Jennifer says, please organize. Mom will be happy.
That's my mom right there.
Oh, that's awesome. Which state do you live in? Want to tell them?
I'm in California.
Yay. We're neighbors. Are you going to the that boss is a boss reseller remix? Do you guys ever do any of the reseller conventions?
No, we're homebodies.
Yeah. I
I
want to
think it would
go
be
to the one
fun.
that's in Vegas. It's in Vegas, so it'd be fun, but by the time I added everything up and having my husband stay with our kids during school week, and it was just a lot of details, but I was jealous of everyone that went to the FlipCon last week.
Yeah.
That was hard to
No, I
watch,
mean,
but
it would be so fun, and I know we would have a good time, but I mean, we both have business, other jobs that we're doing on top of eBay and with the kids, and we're really involved in our church and everything. So to get away a chunk of time to be able to do that is like, oh my gosh, like we'd have to
yeah.
plan for like 6 months out.
Yeah, exactly.
And that, yeah,
I'm so
it
short,
sucks,
everything
but I'd
is up
like
for
to.
me.
Oh,
Hi. You got sister? Okay. All right. Well, these guys are getting antsy, and I am sure your family is too.
I
So,
can hear him. Yeah.
everybody, make sure that you head over to her channel. She's got the joint YouTube is flashback finds with an underscore between it. And then do you want to put your personal Instagram on there, or you want to keep everything on the flashback?
We'll keep it on the flashback because there's not much on my personal, and I use it just to watch reels.
There you go. So follow them on both. They're on YouTube and on Instagram. If you don't already, make sure to check them out. And thank you everyone for being here and the questions in the comments. That helps so much. We really appreciate it. Trying to get enough sales to go to all the reseller events. Kate, that would be a dream.
It
An
would.
absolute dream. Oh, you cut a hole in your purse. Okay. I don't
I
want to
can
cut my
do
purse
that.
because it's a Lulu, but I'll get a cheap purse and
Yeah.
cut a hole
No,
in
hit up
it.
Goodwill or something and find something cutesy that you can use.
That's an idea. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yes, they are. They need to go to bed because Coco, you do yours at 9 o'clock your time, so your kid's
Oof.
already in bed. That's the way to do it because it's yeah. It's are we 3 hours right now? Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're 10:30 almost there. Late for you. So thank you everyone who stayed with us tonight. And I just want to keep reading these. I'm flipping free piles on FlipCon and Boss Reseller Remix next year. There you go.
All
Flipping
right.
free piles. I just sold a free bat. Someone put bats in a free bin and I just sold one for $30. Like it was free.
That's awesome.
Yes, definitely. So make sure you follow her on Instagram and YouTube. And I always have it mirrored. I think you're on that side.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah.
Like that. And I want to thank you, Linda, so much for being on here. Thank you, Cameron, for watching the kiddos while you were on here. And I definitely want to do this again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I was a little nervous. I was telling Jennifer, I was nervous, and I was like, okay, I think it's that pre-show jitters that are starting to get to me. But this has been so much fun, and I would say yes all over again because it has been a great time.
Thank you so much. And thank you again, everyone in the chat. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Bye.